Hi, folks. So, threats of war from expansionist nations on the outside, a white horse. Threats of violence from different groups on the inside of the empire, a red horse. Famine and growing inequity between the rich and the poor, based maybe on poor government planning, a black horse. Epidemic disease and death, a pale horse. It's a good thing we don't need to worry about any of that stuff today. Revelation 6 is where a lot of folks like us Presbyterians get off the Revelation roller coaster. We just would rather not look at the four horsemen of the apocalypse, as they're called. We don't like it. But in some ways, that is precisely the point of our author. Why does God allow these things to happen? Well, as we go through the book, we are finding that we have a choice to make between throwing our lot in with the security of the forces of this world or the forces in the heavenly places. The part of the chapter that doesn't get a lot of attention comes in verses 11 and following. Actually, verse 9. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witness they had borne. They cried out with a loud voice, O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? Then they were each given a white robe and told to rest a little longer until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were killed as they themselves had been. Got a picture here of, this is taken from a church in Albania, where Christians have been in the minority for centuries and often slaughtered. This is a painting of the Archangel Michael, who's actually guarding the communion elements at a church that is several hundred years old inside of a castle. He's holding a scimitar and a scroll in Greek. They would know that language over in that part of the world, on Revelation 7:12, basically proclaiming the power and authority of Jesus Christ. And there's just the slightest smile on his face, as if to say, okay, you can come in here and kill all the people if you want and mess with the scriptures and the communion elements, but I may have the final word after all. Under God's rule, ultimately God's justice is coming. And the Lamb allows all of these forces to be unleashed on the world, and ultimately it is under his control. But he's allowing the forces that are against his authority to run roughshod, so that those people tempted to trust in the power of this world reconsider. You know, at the end it says it is the generals and the rich and powerful who hide in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains, saying, hide us from the wrath of the Lamb. The wrath of the Lamb, what an image. It is God's justice, the flip side of the comfort he offers through his blood shed for us. He will ultimately bring true and lasting justice, and he's the one in charge, not you, not I, not any other ruler of this world. And so he calls us to trust him even in the upheavals of this year and of this world. God bless you today.